Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. My name's William. This is a Spa-Francorchamps, and today we're going to be driving the Lexus RCF GT3. This is kind of one of those oddball GT3 cars, which actually means it's one of the ones I really enjoy. I like the ones that are a little bit weird, not supercars necessarily. They're just, typical cars or like luxury cars, and they turn them into these race cars. And also, this thing sounds amazing, which is also something I'm quite a sucker for. Uh, give me an odd car and a great sounding car, and I'll be happy over a supercar any day. But that's me, and I'm weird. So, anyways, we're gonna drive this thing around here around Spa. I can see how well I can get it set up for you guys. Trying to make it comfortable and consistent, so you guys can actually throw it around the track and hopefully also get a decent lap time out of it while we're at it. So we'll see what we can do. As always, I'm going to have the hot lap for you after this, and then I'll be back to talk to you over the setup, try and go over some little tweaks and adjustments you might be able to make if you don't like it exactly the way I drove it. There'll be some information in that part that might help you tailor the setup a little bit more towards your driving style anyways. So without further ado, I'll get on to the hot lap and I'll be back with you guys to talk over the setup. Enjoy. Okay everybody, that was a hot lap around Spa and the Lexus RCF GT3. We managed a 2:17.820. Before we get into the setup and take a look at the timetables here for the lap, purple in sector 2, and that is the only purple sector for the 2:17.8. Ran these 3 laps back to back to back. In all honesty, they should have been even faster. This was a pretty poor Sector 1. I just kept missing it. You can see a bunch of these are invalid laps, but 40.8 is the best. This is probably on an earlier version of the setup, but even still, a 40.8 definitely should have been in the cards. A really bad turn 1 for me. Just a little too late on the brakes and aggressive, and have to wait to get on the throttle and pour traction out of it. And we all know how important that run is up through Eau Rouge. and all the way down the straight. But either way, a really good middle sector, and then a little bit off in the final sector, but really pretty comparable to everything else. It is a little bit sketchier through the last chicane than some of the other cars. You kind of have to mess with the throttle in the middle to keep it balanced, but ultimately pretty comfortable all the way around in my opinion. So we can go ahead and get into the setup. So I started with the aggressive preset and wound up with this right here. So we're looking for hot tire pressures of 28 psi in the front and just a little bit below that on the rear of the car. See the camber on the front, keeping it below 4. It seemed like going higher or more negative camber on the front was it was nice through some of the kind of like medium speed corners around the track, but everywhere else it was just too much. I just felt like the tires were scraping along the surface of the track. And then we went ahead and lowered the camber on the rear as well. Didn't feel like I was getting anything from running it higher up except for poor corner exits. And same with the toe. Went ahead and decreased the toe on the rear of the car. I was getting kind of the same stability out of the car and same drive out of the corners, but a lot better performance from the rear of the car in the middle of the corner with less toe. Wound up running traction control and ABS on 1 and 1 for both of them. Brake pad compounds 2 and 2, front and rear. And to the suspension, I don't remember if I increased this just by 1. I know I increased the rear anti-roll bar by 1. Moved the brake bias quite far back from where it initially started. Really needed to move it further rearward, in my opinion, to be able to keep weight on the nose, but still be able to trail brake into the corner well. If not, it just felt like I was in the ABS, and then if I started trying to turn into the corner, once again, I was just kind of sliding the front tires across the track. It didn't feel that great at all. Increased the front wheel rate to the max and got rid of the, I think the bump stop range was just on 1 to start with, and went ahead and took it down to 0. On the rear as well, we had to decrease the bump stop range all the way to 13 on the rear of the car. Kept the wheel rate the same. Tried it on the max stiff setting, but ultimately the car just felt way more balanced like this. Did increase the rear anti-roll bar from 2 to 3. It's really just kind of helping with some rotation out of the corners and actually a little bit more of the stability through Eau Rouge with a slightly stiffer rear anti-roll bar. Onto the dampers. Most of this is just to deal with the last chicane as well as humanly possible, and then Eau Rouge as well as just trying to keep the car balanced into the high-speed corners like Pujon and stuff like that. So we're running quite a bit of rebound on the rear, specifically for like Pujon and corners like that, and then a lot of fast bump on the front to help with the initial turn in for the final chicane and all that good stuff. Onto the Aero, I increased the ride height on the front to 60. I believe this is the standard value was 80 on the rear. Lowered the wing down to 5 and brake ducts 3 and 2. I had tried higher on the front ride height because it does definitely scrape through Eau Rouge. You can hear it, you can see it, but it is very drivable. Like I said, I did all 3 of those laps back to back to back. No lifting at all through Eau Rouge for me, and it was even forgiving to the point to where I could like hit the curb on the right a little bit in testing if I wanted to, and I would be okay, or I could miss the line a little bit to the left and still be okay. If I increased the front ride height, I would get through Eau Rouge a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily say better, but with less scraping. but then down the straightaway, it's like a tenth of a second, at least, just in top speed of what I was losing. So keeping that at 60, if you're really struggling with it, you can go ahead and increase it. Like I said, I was running it up to 65. It does kind of change the balance of the car a little bit, but you can definitely go for that, and it will kind of reduce the scraping a little bit. Also, I wouldn't try lowering this rear ride height if you're experiencing some instability on high-speed corner turn-in and stuff. Just add a click of wing instead. I've run this on 4-wing, 5-wing, and 6-wing. They are all pretty different. 4-wing's pretty loose. 5-wing feels it's like a little bit of rotation, maybe a little too much rotation for some people, but it feels pretty balanced. And then 6-wing, it just felt too understeery to me, but that might be exactly what you need if it is a little bit too oversteery for you. So you can try that for sure. Also, I should note, if you're wanting to stiffen the car up or anything like that, on the entry to corners, or not stiffen the car up, but tighten the car up on the entry corners, you can go ahead and increase this preload 100. Kind of does a nice trick for you there as well. So just a couple little things, but yeah, if you're wanting a looser car, take a little wing out. If you're wanting a tighter car, put a little bit more wing in it. That would be my primary aero balance adjustments I would make on it from here. But anyways, guys, that is the setup. This car is a lot of fun to drive. Absolutely love the way it sounds. I hope you guys get to take it out and it works well for you. Any feedback on it, or letting me know how you managed to get on with the setup, leave it in the comments below. I try and read them all, and I do appreciate any of the feedback you guys give. As always, if you like this, give it a like, and feel free to share this with anybody. Trying to help people go faster. That's kind of the name of the game here. Enjoy the sim a little bit more, make it a more enjoyable experience for more of us out there, and try and help people go just a little bit faster. Like I said, that's the name of the game. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.